Now, I certainly appreciate that taking the mountain bike in today might seem sort of strange, especially considering how excited I am about how sick the Tri-Cross looks as a monster truck. But I will tell you that bringing this bike in today is kind of important for today's rhetoric, and well, you'll see why. It helps the story move along. It helps make my point, because I need it to be there. Of course, it's sort of a bummer because riding a mountain bike on the road is easily my least favorite thing to do of all time. There's some wind this morning, but nothing we can't handle. Now, I think we could probably all agree that I am a small YouTuber. Not tiny and not unknown by any means, but small for sure. And when you are a small, aspiring YouTuber, the offers and the free products and the sponsorship opportunities, well, they don't pop up. Now, that's not to say that nothing pops up. It's just you don't get the stuff that the big guys get. Although you do get these strange and weird unsolicited emails from random companies from time to time. And a lot of times, I tend to ignore them. I read them because they're still pretty far and few between, but after reading them, I get my good chuckle out of it, and I think no further of it. The latest email I was sent almost went the same way as all the other ones do. Read it, laugh, delete. But there was one thing in it that did catch my eye and made me dig a little bit deeper. The company I got the email from is called Banggood, which is just the most hilarious e-commerce store name. And their logo here looks like it's trying to maybe mimic something. And the email I was sent went something along the lines of, hey, I got your email from your YouTube channel. I have these products that I'm thinking would kind of like fall in line with what you're into. And what was listed was a Garmin Edge 200 for like 90 bucks. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. They don't make that anymore, although I do have a Garmin Edge 200. A random weird set of lights that go on the seat post and are like signal lights for going left and right. And then a weird clamp thing that your like phone would fit in that would fit on the handlebars of a bike. Those three products, to me, not super interested. But I did find it sort of strange that they were a company that was selling genuine Garmin stuff. I had to look into that a little bit. I was sort of curious. And that's how I actually ended up landing on their page. I wouldn't have gone otherwise. So I went to their cycling products page, and actually a few things did catch my eye that I wanted to see. I wanted to see some of these things in person, but I wasn't really sure if this was like a company that I could trust. I didn't really know if it was something that I should take serious, but it was kind of something I wanted to go down a little bit to kind of get the experience and like, you know, share it with you guys in two ways, by showing you a product and sharing how the like process kind of went. So my idea, because I wasn't really sure how it was going to go, was find a couple of things that I think would be kind of neat, and also one other thing that I actually want. So I went to the Garmin portion, and I've been wanting a running watch, something that I could wear during runs and during cyclocross. And the one that I wanted was out of stock, so of course I went to the $1,000 one. I was like, and I replied back to the representative from Banggood. I've got 3 products on your cycling page that I think would kind of fall in line with what my viewers would want to see, and also this $1,000 Garmin Forerunner watch I think would kind of be like, you know, maybe a little bit neat to also have, because I could show it, you know, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. To which was replied, I can send you 2 of the 3 things you want, and also you're not getting the watch. Is that okay? Which is totally fair. My response back was, yep, here's the address to the shop, but just so you know, I don't know if you've actually watched my videos. I can be pretty brutally honest on stuff, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to do this if you're going to tell me that I need to say certain things. I'll mention your company's name, I'll mention your e-commerce store name, but beyond that, all creative freedom is mine. To which they agreed, and on its way was this package. So out of everything they had on their site, these were 2 things that I actually wanted to see in person and give a bit of a comment on. A 10-speed 11 through to 42 cassette, and a single-speed chain tensioner. It's definitely worth adding that I am not being paid to make this video. However, the stuff that did show up was sent to me for free. Mostly, I really wanted to see the cassette. Now I'm going to put this no-name, unbranded, 11 through to 42 cassette onto my mountain bike because I've been wanting something with this much range, and the Sunrace ones are just never ever in stock. And if this shifts even half decent, I'd be happy to use it. Now, inspecting this, you can certainly tell that it's of cheaper quality, but that would kind of be to be expected for like a $38 cassette, $49 Canadian. Each of the cogs are made of steel, and you can very, very much tell that they are stamped and then not cleaned up very much. The teeth aren't too bad, but you can tell that there's some imperfections in there. Whether or not they're really going to affect performance, I doubt it, but it is worth noting. The bottom 8 cogs are held together with 3 long bolts with a Torx head, and I certainly think it's worth noting that this thing is heavy. Heavier than most other cassettes that I've ever really had to work with. So I'm definitely going to be weighing my bike before this goes on and then after, and we'll see how much weight we've gained. My anticipation for this is that it's actually going to work probably pretty decent, even though it does have quite a bit of imperfections and burrs everywhere. Maybe it'll wear a chain out a little faster, maybe it won't shift all that great. If it works as good as it does right now, I would be satisfied. I don't know what more I could say about a cassette before actually trying it, so I guess I'll just put it on my bike and see what it's like. Obviously, the biggest advantage out of this is going to be that extra big cog. Obviously it went on without any problems. It's a cassette. You'd really have to go out of your way to make sure that a cassette can't slide onto the splines. I did need to put a new chain on. The one I had on previously was too short to get up onto the 42 tooth. No real surprise. I will say, with a new cable and this bike tuned decent with that 11 through to 36 and the old chain versus this with the new chain and the 1142 from Banggood Cassette, this does not shift as well. It's not bad by any means. It's just not perfect. That happens when you mix and match drivetrains from time to time, but I'm not surprised that it has like small hiccups in some of the shifting. So I did weigh it with the old cassette on, and it was 25 pounds 4 ounces. So I want to see what it weighs with this cassette on, because it is considerably heavier, I think. 25 pounds 11 ounces. Okay, maybe not. as much heavier as I had originally thought. Dang it! Okay, so my initial impression with this is surprisingly better than I was expecting. While I was holding it, I thought it felt a lot heavier than it was, and when we're looking at a difference of like 6 ounces, in my mind that's pretty well negligible, and out of it I gained a 42 tooth bailout cog. I'm gonna be honest, I sort of wanted to hate this product. I was sort of looking for things while inspecting it to be like, yep, this is gonna be the thing that really does it in. I thought for sure it was gonna be the weight, and I thought for sure it was gonna be the unfinished look of the teeth and the back of the cogs by the way that they're punched out and not like polished or cleaned up in any way. But it seems to be shifting exactly the way I would sort of expect for that bike. If you're on a budget and you want to upgrade your 10-speed drivetrain to an 1142, this is not a bad option. So these are mostly just first impressions, me being somewhat surprised at the fact that a $50 1142 10-speed cassette can be relatively decent, but the real test is going to be in the summer when that's on that bike and I'm actually testing it everywhere. I want to see how it deals with the chain, I want to see how it wears, I want to see if it ends up being a liability or a problem on the side of the trail and not so much just here in the shop without any load on it. The first real test is going to be on the ride home today. So, also this single speed tensioner, I need to pick a bike to convert to single speed. I have one in mind, but help me make that decision. I think I'll do it Friday, so that'll give us a day to make a decision on which bike to do it to. So just like vote in the comments below which of my bikes I should convert to a single speed. Now I'm not going to be able to tell you anything during the ride because it's very dark out. In fact, I'm probably not going to be able to shoot any video whatsoever. So when I get to the house, I'll give you a very, very short rundown on how that super cheap cassette worked on the ride, and then the video will be over. I have to say, if I didn't know that this was an off-brand cassette and that it wasn't SRAM or Shimano based on the performance of the ride home, I wouldn't know the difference. Although I will say I think that like bike vanity and maybe some brand recognition would kind of come into play here a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily want people looking at the lock ring of that cassette and saying, what's a Sunshine cassette? That would probably be the biggest thing that keeps me from really wanting to go out and buy this. But if that doesn't matter to you, and it kind of, maybe it kind of shouldn't, I think this is a pretty good way to get into an 1142 10-speed non-XD driver cassette. Throw that on for super cheap for the meantime before you want to splurge on something a little bit nicer. I mean, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing with it. Ride it until I want to upgrade my full drivetrain and buy a cassette from whatever brand I end up getting. But for my cobbled together mess of a 1x10, it's working totally fine. I guess we'll see how long it lasts.